Across the causeway last night?
I got to Port Isabel at 8 o'clock. I got to my house at 11:30.
11:30. That was I had people checking in that they got to that at the 100 and what is it? Is it 72?
Yeah.
The split there in Laguna Vista? They'd get to that Stripes, and then like they would check in. We're at Stripes, but traffic's backed up. And then, an hour later you'd check in. We're in front of, the little hotel, the rundown hotel on the right-hand side there as you're getting a little further into Laguna Vista. So
that's right on the money. There is no strings pulled there. That's exactly what was going on. It was crazy.
Very nice. Very nice. So your island has been taken over by over 100,000 spring breakers. How does that make you feel?
I was talking last night. I said that it's kind of unbelievable for someone that hasn't been here. I've got a niece and nephew that are staying here for the first time through a spring break. And 2 weeks prior, I kept telling him, wait, this place is going to transform into something that's just you'll never forget the rest of your life. And it's like, here it is. And even though you're prepared for it, the extent of what's going on this year is just amazing. And but they told us early on this was liable to be one of the biggest in years past. And indeed, right now, I haven't seen the exact numbers, but once they come out, I'm sure this is big stuff.
Well, I know it had simmered down for a while, but now it's good to see that it's back on tap. But let's switch gears, get back to the baseball. Yesterday, you had the pleasure of calling the doubleheader between Harlingen South and Corpus Christi Carroll, and then Corpus Christi Carroll and PSJ High. Talk to me about this Carroll team that a lot of people are saying are one of the best in the nation.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had the privilege of doing the Carroll Tigers last year down the stretch, doing their games all the way up to the point when they went to Round Rock and then lost in that last game. But first thing I saw was when I was putting the rosters together in the lineup cards, name for name, it's like, man, I thought some of these kids graduated. This team was loaded for kill, and it's the same kids. So right out of the gate, they're good. And, on paper, everyone said they're going to be good. In person, they are even better. This is a legitimate team that is ranked number one in the state, and the reason is because these kids perform, and they're right on the money.
So, there was no doubt what you saw on paper with an experienced team came to fruition on the field, and the way these guys were playing, it was just something to marvel at.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You could see it from the mannerism from they walked on the field. They're led obviously by Courtney Hawkins, who, you'll do a Google on that name and you'll find out you got one of the better players in America, if not the best player in America. So, it starts there with Courtney Hawkins, and you watch how he leads the team just by, his presence and his work ethics. Everything about him was all businesslike. The team was businesslike. They were here for a trip, on a Friday afternoon, playing a doubleheader in the Rio Grande Valley, and it was all business. They enjoyed what they did after the games was over. I got a chance to see some of the kids in their dinner afterwards, but business, and it was just again, from the word go, you could see this team. This is a different team.
How did this Courtney Hawkins? How did he? Give me a little more detail. He's the pitcher, obviously, right?
Well, he does pitch for the team. However, the scout out on him is that he's an outfielder because of his legitimate speed. Legitimate under sub 4.4 in the 40 speed.
Wow.
And he's 6'3", 210 pounds. Can get it done as far as the bat. Taking some batting practice, talking with Harlingen South's coach. They were taking batting practice, and he had a wooden bat out there and was hitting him over the lights there at Harlingen Stadium.
Wow.
With routine, and was doing it. To quote the coach, was doing it just having fun. So it wasn't like he was, just bearing down. He was just having some fun, taking some batting practice and seeing how far he could hit a baseball. And they were going over the lights in Harlingen Field for those that have been there.
So what was the end result versus the Hawks on Harlingen South, the game one?
Well, it was a 10-0 ball game. And, you take a look at what Harlingen South did. And, first of all, kudos to those two coaches for getting this team to come down here and play that because, here is Harlingen South and then the PSJ Bears both taking a look at, we got a chance to compete as the better teams in the Valley. And so they get a chance to play against this team. Both of them played each other the day before, and then they come out here and take on the Carroll Tigers. They threw a freshman pitcher out of the gate at the Carroll Tigers. And so, you take a look at that and say, there's Jacob Atkinson's out there taking on the number one team in the state, and Hawkins leads off. So the first batter he faces is Hawkins. And, so the Hawks they held their own against this team, and had an opportunity in that second inning. It was a 1-0 ball game. Had the first two guys on, get a base hit there, you score a run or two, and they had a chance. Carroll Tigers used one big inning in the third inning that kind of broke the game open, scored 5, put a 5 spot on it, and from that point on, they went into pretty much cruise control. But I was impressed with how Harlingen South competed. And bear in mind, Harlingen South is a young squad. That's what we said in football all year, and that's what we're going to be saying in baseball. And they held their own. And to continue on, that's what everyone was saying about this Carroll Tiger team over the past several years, is that this bunch is good and they continue to play together. Well, in the press box, equally it was being said about this Harlingen South team. This is a young bunch. They've been playing together forever. And, on paper, they held their own. And on the field, they really held their own. I know they got beat 10-0, but it was the one big inning that really spelled the difference in this ball game. But they held their own as far as what I saw in the press box.
That's the important thing. And kudos, Coach Leal, for throwing the freshman pitcher out there. Just saying, hey, kid, listen, this is your one opportunity. You're going to have plenty of time to shake this. If it does end up being a victory, you'll have plenty of time to celebrate it. If it ends up as a loss, you'll have plenty of time to shake it off. But let's see what you got against these big boys. And I think that's great training for a young pitcher who's expected to have, great success in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the same thing. He was talking to his kids. I was down there in the dugout as they were preparing the lineup cards and getting them ready to start that ball game. It's exactly what he was saying, man to man. This is the number one team in the state. We're not going to pull any punches there. You're going to get a chance to step up against the best. And he kept telling his kids, get out there and have some fun with this. Enjoy what you're going to get to do, but also take the opportunity to measure yourself and see where you're at and your goals of where you need to be. And perfect opportunity for a team like this. And again, lost the ball game, but perhaps won on the bigger picture for things to come later on.
Joe Bowling joins us. He had the call yesterday for the Harlingen South Corpus Christi Carroll game, followed by the Corpus Christi Carroll PSJ North game. You talked about the one big inning that they had against Harlingen South. It seemed early in the Bears game, they put up 3 in the first inning and gave their pitcher a good cushion there in order to get the game started against the Bears.
Yeah, they threw a kid named Chris Cano, who Chris was the pitcher when they, in the state championship game the 2 years ago, who actually got the start over a Courtney Hawkins. They used Hawkins as a closer at that time. So, again, you're looking at arguably the team's number one going up against the PSJA Bears. The Bears countered with Alberto Morales, who was a pitcher who is at best on their depth chart, their number 2, because of the fact that, again, remember, Harlingen South and PSJA played each other the night before in a 2-0 pitcher's duel. So both, quote, aces were used trying to win that ball game, which both deemed more important in the Valley, which is the case. And then, of course, here comes Alberto Morales against the Tigers. A single, a walk, and then Courtney Hawkins was due because he went hitless in the first game, and so he rifles a triple in the gap to drive in a couple and sets the tone, scores. But then Morales settles down and blanks him all the way into the 5th inning and gives the PSJA Bears an opportunity to play in that ball game. Now, again, they were up against a decided ace in Chris Cano, who was equally, he faced the minimum through the first 5, and so they were up against it. But again, Alberto Morales, that's your number 2 pitcher, and he's going up against the best team in the state. Holds him to 3 runs, but blanks him after the first 3 batters through the 5th inning.
But Cano had some wicked pitches out there that was really keeping the Bears bats off balance, shall we say?
Yeah, Cano's one of the funner pitchers I've got to call in a long time, and the fact that he gets up there, he's not a big imposing figure such as what Hawkins looks like when he's on the mound. He just kind of looks like your normal everyday ball player, a little lanky kid, but he's not one of those tall and lanky kids that you see this big arm motion. He just simply goes out there, stands on the mound, and you think, what's this kid got? He's got it all. He's got a breaking ball. He's got fastballs. He works the corners. He's got multiple angles that he delivers his baseball with. And as the scouts say, when you read the scouting report on him, he jumps the plate, which means the ball, explodes out of his hand and gets there a lot quicker than what you expect. And, he's the real deal, too.
So he can really paint. I mean, he really just puts it wherever he needs to put it in order to get the batters to miss.
Yeah, and he does not get flustered. You can see he gets in a pitcher's rhythm, and he just gets in his own mindset, and that's what you want every pitcher to get to, is a point where nothing phases them, and that's exactly, you can see it. You can watch him from a mile away and say, this kid's locked in.
That is awesome. Joe, we appreciate the time this morning, my friend. I understand that will you be staying on the island the rest of the weekend here, or is there a trip off?
Well, you know what? I said the last 3 days that I'm not getting back in my car, and I had an opportunity to go up and cover some basketball games in Houston with some 8th graders this weekend, and I made this statement, not going to do it, not going to get in my car, and I woke up for this. I'm going back to bed, not getting in my car. That's my statement all day. If I had a shirt, I'd wear it right now.
Well, I'm sure that you can find a couple of those free shirts somewhere along up and down the island right there, brother. That won't be an issue.
You got it.
Thanks, my man. We appreciate you.
Hey, take care, guys.
Our man Joe Bowling joining us here in the huddle on 840 Fox Sports Radio. Poor guy. I mean, you get to Laguna Vista at 8 o'clock. You check into your house at 11-something. That's one of those where you just go, can I just leave it and walk across?
Well, I gave you the heads up that the Bud Light girls are staying at the condo, like the development that he lives at. So I don't think he's suffering too much. You know?
Wait! You're just now telling us this?
Yeah,
He told me, but
I'm not in the loop still.
Yeah, sorry.
It's only show 30.
I'm sending you other info.
I'm still behind the glass, so to speak.
You're Wilson from what's that
Tim Allen show?
Yep, Tim Allen show.
All right, so our man Joe Bowling checking in from South Padre.